By now, you heard the Urban Meyer comments about the Miami Hurricanes, but I'm going to remind you what they were. I'm going to play that video for you because I just want to pour some salt in the wound of Urban Meyer because every time that guy talks, I mean, he sounds kind of stupid, and he was exposed for who he is. He's an Ohio State fanboy, and just listening to the commentary that he had with Colin Cowherd, I want to play this video for y'all so you can get a kick out of it. If you haven't seen it by now, you're going to see it now. But there was nothing sweeter than sticking this shit up Urban Meyer's ass. I mean, I gotta say that was fun. I enjoy it. Urban Meyer will have some type of excuse for whatever he said. But let's take a listen right here before we jump in. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I am your host, Rudy Rodriguez. Someone hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell, leave your comments, man. I appreciate y'all jumping on board. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on between now and January 8th. And of course, on January 8th, we'll be sitting right there doing our Hurricanes Unfiltered live, doing that live broadcast of the game. And let's going to be celebrating this damn thing as we play Ole Miss. Georgia didn't make it. And I got some stuff for a Georgia guy as well, which I'm going to do in a separate video. But yo, man, we are almost there, guys. Almost there. One more game gets us back to our home field, bro. And it will be the most exciting thing on earth if we can get back to the Hard Rock and hosting the national championship. And I'm sure everybody will complain about it that the Canes found a way to get a national championship on their home field. We've played national championships on our whole field before, and we've lost. I mean, we can go back to the Nebraska in 1994. That was for the national championship possibilities, and we lost that game to Nebraska on our home field at the Orange Bowl. Was it 94, 95? One of the two. I think it was 94. But, yo, man, that was with Warren Sapp and Ray Lewis. And they ran that ball down our throats in the second half. Corey Schlesinger killed our asses. But, we get the chance to host the national championship. I believe this will be the first time ever that a team is hosting the national championship. But we first got to get there. Got to beat Ole Miss next week. But let's take a look at this video on what Urban Meyer had to say about the Miami Hurricanes coming in to this game against Ohio State and what he had to say. And that's what's, got, Shannon Dawson. It made him, get a little upset. And he had some comments for the idiots. And so let's take a listen to this right here for the idiot in charge right here, Urban Meyer. Let's take a listen.
Okay, Miami at Ohio State. Very good defenses. I think Julian Sands, the most underrated college football player in the country. I think he's.
You can see that big Ohio State helmet right behind him, and now those are Ohio State stickers. I mean, I don't know what helmet. That's a mixture of helmet. Those are Ohio State Buckeye leaves, just so you know.
He's really, really good. Everybody knows Ohio State's got great backs last year, great receivers this year. It's Ohio State. I just don't know if Miami can move the ball much. I don't think Ohio State's going to march up and down the field. I don't know if Miami can move the ball in this team. Can they?
I don't think they can. I don't know unless Ohio State does something very uncharacteristic and turn the ball over a few times. I don't see them. I do not see Miami driving the ball against Ohio State. I saw very few teams do that. The only team that beat them was obviously Indiana. And our man Mendoza made some incredible throws. And I don't see Ohio State moving up and down the field on Miami either.
Indiana scored 13 points on Ohio State. They had one touchdown drive.
This is going to be a slugfest, and I just don't see Miami scoring. I told people if Ohio State scores 2 touchdowns, they win that game. And I still believe that.
When you go into a game like this and it's going to be low scoring, you're the favored team, but it's going to be low scoring. Do you think Ryan Day will call a conservative game, basically believing, guys, we will eventually make a play on the perimeter, but we're not giving them points? I mean, I've seen Ryan do that before a couple times. It's not a criticism. When you have Ohio State talent and the other team's not going to score much, would you be prone to try some fun stuff early, or just go into it knowing we'll grind them down and we'll win? Because, I think Ryan Day watches film. You do. Miami's not dropping 28 here. They're not. So do you think Ryan will coach conservatively?
I think he's in a very unique position of being the head coach, now the play caller. He's always been very involved in play calling. You ask what would I do? I would do exactly what you just said. I would be very conservative as the game started. I would be such an emphasis on special teams and trying to, I would always tell our offense, and people get shocked sometimes when I say this. Your job as an offense is to get in this type of game, get 2 first downs and then see what happens. But you have to get 2 first downs because Colin, that flips the field. You get 2 first downs, you're near midfield, you punt the ball. They're starting inside their 10 if you got excellent special teams. And that's where the mistakes are made. Your job as an offense is stay out of that situation and put them in that situation in this kind of game. Now, if they have matchup night, like a matchup advantage, which I believe they do with those 2 receivers, there might be times as they cross or get near that 50-yard line to shoot the ball down the field. I would not mess around inside your own 10, 20, 25-yard line. Do not do that. Get 2 first downs. You get near midfield, go ahead and take a few shots because this will be a field position game because Miami's defense is legit.
Oh, yeah.
And they can't screw around with that defense.
All right, at least, he did say that part where he said Miami's defense is legit. But, he did take the shot at the Miami offense. The Miami offense that did put up 17 points in this game, and Ohio State did put up 2 touchdowns. And, well, offense on offense, Miami outscored Ohio State. And Miami's legit defense scored 7 points. And Ohio State's kicker missed a 50-yard field goal, and their punt team cost them 20 yards on a punt late in the game that changed Miami's field position from the 10 to the 30. But I want to go back to that that comment he made about how Miami can't drive the ball down the field on Ohio State. Well, Urban Meyer, man. Damn, you don't sound all that wise. And I'm going to put this out there because listen to Colin Cowherd also. He's not the most educated when it comes to college football. He's not watching college football the way a lot of people are probably watching college football. And this is not a shot at him. This is just a fact. The fact is that these 2 teams both play, and I know the game is over now and we can all talk about it, but these 2 teams both play very, very similarly on offense. They are not high-scoring 45-point teams. This is not the Miami team from last year with Cam Ward playing quarterback, where they were putting up 44 points a game, 45 points a game, and 500 yards every game. It's not that team. But Ohio State is also not the team that they had a year ago with Will Howard as their quarterback. He was a more experienced quarterback. And while maybe Julian Saint ends up being a better quarterback at the end of the line, because I think he's a really good player, he was a redshirt freshman starting the biggest game of his life, coming off of the last biggest game of his life in which he lost and was running for his life. And again, faced a defense that was similar, more athletic, that had him running for his life even more. So Miami did have I don't know, let's take a look. Even in the drive in which Miami fumbled the ball, the first possession for each team was a 3 and out. Miami was 3 plays, 3 yards. Ohio State was 3 plays, -7 yards, and both teams punted. Then Miami took the ball on their second possession, went 8 plays and 42 yards, had a 16-yard pass and a 13-yard pass. And then they got down to the Ohio State 19, and Mark Fletcher fumbles the ball on 3rd down and 2. That's a field goal. At the bare minimum, that's going to be a 36-yard field goal if Fletcher doesn't fumble that football. And potentially a touchdown. Like when I talked about this game, I mean, in my recap, Miami had an opportunity in this game to really blow these guys out in the first half. And I never thought I would say that about this game because I thought it would be a close game. I thought it'd be a very hard game to win. And it went extremely well in the first half, but there were times where Miami left points on the board. They left points on that field. And this was one of those situations, fumbling the ball. Now, one could say the same thing for Ohio State with the interception that Keontae Scott returned for a touchdown. But on this particular drive, Miami had the ball for 8 plays, almost 4 minutes, 42 yards. They drove right down the field. They drove right down the field. They went 4-yard run, 16-yard pass, 1-yard run, incomplete pass, 13-yard pass, 4-yard run, 4-yard run. Here they are at the 19-yard line. They got the ball to start the possession at their own 39-yard line after forcing a punt. So the things he was talking about with punts and so forth, they didn't get 2 first downs. And then the next possession, Ohio State goes and punts. 4 plays, 16 yards, they punt. So, Miami Fort got the ball right back again, but this time Miami went 13 plays, 83 yards, 8 minutes and 4 seconds, 8-yard run, 6-yard run, 13-yard run. That's gash, gash, gash. Short pass, 3-yard run, 9-yard pass, 4-yard pass, 7-yard pass, 7-yard run, 3-yard run, 5-yard run, 4-yard pass, 9-yard touchdown pass. This is just methodically beating them down. A methodical beatdown. That's what we had here. We had a methodical beatdown. And so Miami's up 7-0. And then on the next possession, that's when Ohio State gets that chunk play to Jeremiah Smith for 59 yards. And on the next play, Julian Saint gets sacked by Ruben Bain. And on the play after that, he swings for that wide receiver screen that Keontae Scott reads, steps right in front of. Jeremiah Smith misses the block badly, and Keontae Scott's off to the races, like gone. And it's 14-0. So, he talked about turnovers too, but even after that, the next possession Ohio State had, they had 5 plays punt. They did get 2 first downs there, and they did shift, field position, but they punted again. Miami got the ball and punted back to them. This is the possession in which Carson Beck got the first down that got reversed by replay, which was ridiculous. So then in that final possession, that's when so Miami left points out there, and then Miami forced a punt again for 3 and out. And then there was that one more possession where Miami got the ball down to the 30-yard line and then took a negative pass play on Malachi Toney, a little shovel, and then there was a sack, and then a negative pass play. Next thing we're at the 40-yard line, and instead of and then that was when he threw to Keelan Marion down the field, and Keelan Marion got 2 arms around his body. They don't call PI. I mean, that first half, Miami completely drop kicked Ohio State. So Urban Meyer might be shocked about that, but Miami's bigger. Miami's stronger. Miami's got the better. Again, this goes back to Miami got the better offensive line, the better defensive line. They're better up front on both sides of the ball. Yet so many people like Urban Meyer are picking Ohio State to win. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And you're picking them to win simply because of one player, Jeremiah Smith. The only reason this was even a game was because of Jeremiah Smith. He played like a freaking demon out there. I mean, he was a savage. But they got a couple of long drives themselves. But Miami had 1, 2. They had 1, 2. And really, that Ohio State possession when they went 50, they went down the field, that was one play. It wasn't a possession. It was they went one play deep. They beat us deep. And then they had a sack and a pick. So that wasn't even a drive. Miami went 8 plays down the field, 42 yards before fumbling. Then they go 13 for 83. Then they go 9 for 43 after Ohio State scored to make that. That was 4 drives on Ohio State, 4. And then Miami gets another drive. They go 10 plays, 70 yards, 5 drives. Remember, this was this was a type of game for which Ohio State actually runs play clock longer than Miami on every snap. So you're going to have a very methodical game in this mentality that Ohio State has all these weapons. Yo, Carnell Tate is not Jeremiah Smith, and you all keep pushing this crap like he was. He's not. Jeremiah Smith is here, and Tate is here. They're not the same dude. But Miami has the ball in the first half 5 legitimate times. Ohio State has the ball in the first half 6 legitimate times because Miami did have a pick 6. So you had 5 possessions to 6 possessions. Then the last possession was a 1 play, go to halftime. Second half, though, was, 3 possessions each, man. Well, really 4. Ohio State had 4 possessions and Miami had 3 possessions. The last possession for Miami, again, 1 play. So Miami in this game had 8 real possessions. 8 possessions. And on 5 of those 8 possessions, they drove that ball down the field. They stuck it up Ohio State's ass. They bashed them. They gashed them. They dominated them. That's what happened. That is what happened. And in the 9 possessions that Ohio State had, they went down the field twice. They moved it down the field twice. A third time, yeah, they missed that field goal. I think a lot of that had to do with freaking. I don't think Mario Cristobal should have ever taken that timeout on 2nd and 6. Had it been 2nd and 9 or 10, I would have said yeah. But on 2nd and 6, and you saw Ohio State wasn't going to take a timeout, let it run. You just let it run, because if they at that point, they're going to run the ball again. They're going to go to halftime. That was pretty much Ryan Day telling you that. And I know Mario wanted to get the ball back. I understand all that, but on 2nd and 9 or 10, I would say yeah. 2nd and 6, you don't do that. You're just helping them out. Now they make a play, and next thing you know, they're down the field and so forth. Miami drove the ball down the field the entire game, like the entire game. Even on the possession in which they punt, they moved the ball and they had a first down taken away from them. Period. I mean, they only had two situations of really, they only had 1 3-and-out the entire game. They only had two. They only had 2 possessions of 5 plays or less. So, yeah, of their 8 possessions, their 8 real ones, they had 2 possessions where they had 5 plays or less. So Urban Meyer, hey man, you sound brilliant, bro. Miami can't score. 14 points. I'd love to hear your comments now. I mean, you suck. I understand. You're a Glazer. You're an Ohio State coach, and you're cheerleading for them. I understand. But man, I'd love to hear what you have to say now. So that's all I got. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments, man. I just thought this would be a fun video to make. And I have a few more that are going to be fun like this before we really get into the in-depth commentary. Get ready for Ole Miss. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. This is Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.